Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from G Sweetwater in response to how to set up the sync function on the Roland MX-1, a video I did in November 2019. And he writes, I assume it's a he, someone mentioned this not working with Ableton well. Speaking only about Ableton 11, it worked great. I sync my Rain 72 and turntables via Serato and Ableton Link. And Serato controls the MX-1 clock, allowing me to use whatever MIDI I want, and it keeps sync with my DJ gear. It's pretty amazing, really. Interesting one. What a number of people have commented against various videos that they struggled to get the MX-1 correctly set up with the computer and the DAW, including Ableton. Now, some of these comments are generally technical issues, and some are related to misunderstanding what the MX-1 is and which mode you need to be in for operation. Now, you may have heard me say that I could not get the MX-1 and Ableton while operating the Ableton 1 in surface mode. I really couldn't get to grips with it. It didn't work for me. The workflow did not work, so I gave up in the end. So I do not use the MX-1 with Ableton, but I use it in extended mode, and that works far better for my workflow. Now, I have many times said that it's a personal preference, and many of you will say you need to be in whatever mode. Sounds like you have a well thought out rig that meets your needs with the MX-1 as part of that setup. And this is kind of just going to the sort of the general crux of this, is you have to think through what each piece of the rig is doing and why it's there. So for argument's sake, that's a master keyboard, but it's also a keyboard I play. That's a master keyboard, it's also a keyboard I play. So these would have MIDI outs going out of them. But I also have a MIDI in coming from a master clock source, whichever master clock source that is. Now in this rig, as it's set up at the moment, this is the master clock source. Okay, so I have an out going out here. It doesn't go into here at the moment, but it will go into that machine, that instrument, and an outgoing and an incoming to this instrument. But that's for clock only. Okay, that's all I'm using the out on those for. But if I was driving a module here, then obviously I'll be driving that through whichever keyboard it happens to be. So just think about how you need it set up, and how you need it set up is pretty much how you need to start wiring the cables and the direction. And remember, the clock source always has to be at the head. Next question comes from Carrie J. Nicolo in response to the Death of the Crones video, a video I did in December 2021. Kerry writes, I'm moving over to Roland Fantom 8. Nautilus doesn't impress me at all. Common theme. Korg sounds have been sounding old. Fantom 8 is amazing. Plus the amount of legacy syncs you can get from Roland Cloud are simply amazing. You can get an unlimited key for the Roland Cloud. Fantom is also easier to program than Kronos. Roland is really thinking of the future and spends lots of R&D on their keyboards. Korg has obviously gotten lazy. Roland pianos and organs are much better than Korg. Awesome, bold statements there. I think there are a number of factors at work here. And I think if you need a new workstation now, then Fantom and Baby Fantom O make a very compelling proposition, if I'm honest. In constructing the Fantom, you can see that Roland have taken a very good look at both the Kronos and the Montage, and with version 2 and 2.1 of the OS have really begun to take the march into the territory that Korg has so well owned with the Kronos. People included this category are gigging musicians that cannot afford for their main keyboard to fail mid-gig. So that's kind of where they're going. You have a Kronos and are desperately holding on for the big Korg announcement. You've looked at Nautilus and really do not think it's a step forward. A lot of people have said this. I was listening to a podcast the other day when the musician being interviewed stated that he was originally put of Nautilus and it was not compatible with his Kronos. So he bought a second-hand Kronos rather than buying a Nautilus. Now I know that Korg have fixed the cross-compatibility issue, but many players have been forced into a second-hand market and picked up a second version of the Kronos, deciding to wait rather than jump into Nautilus now. So you can see that happening quite a lot. To be honest, there is nothing wrong with Kronos. It ain't broke, so you don't need to fix it. And I fall into that category at the moment personally. I will hang on and see which direction Korg goes and whether they make a compelling reason for upgrading to their new board, which does being able to run my Kronos patches on that new board. As someone put it the other day, it's not just about being able to load the tones and samples, it's about being able to maintain the sonic and acoustic features that you have created. I do feel at this point Roland have stolen ground, but time will see if they can keep it up.